Hello friends, in my previous video I had told you how the plants produce their own food with the help of a process called as photosynthesis. Photo meaning sunlight and synthesis meaning produce. So basically they produce glucose in the presence of sunlight and chlorophyll and with the help of carbon dioxide and water. So, we know that glucose is produced, but do you know that glucose, when produced in that form, but gets transported in the form of sucrose solution? This food that is produced in the glucose form has to be transported to each and every part of the plant. So, to transport, we need some transportation means, isn't it? So, for that, there is a special tissue called as phloem tissue, which is a part of a vascular bundle. Similar to xylem tissue, even phloem tissue has a living and non-living cells, so it is called a complex tissue. The first cell, called as sieve tubes, is the main conducting cell, and how the structure is like they are elongated cylindrical. They have a thin walled cells and they are arranged in a vertical forms. So the end walls of each sieve tube is perforated. That means it has a fine pores like that you see in the sieve that you have it at home. So this perforated end walls are therefore termed as sieve plates. The pores or perforations are called as sieve areas. So food materials can easily pass through these sieve areas. These are the living cells and are dependent on the adjacent companion cell. So coming to companion cells, these are smaller cells having dense cytoplasm and a prominent nuclei. There are direct connections between the sieve tubes and companion cells. This companion cell helps the sieve tubes in the conduction of food materials. Next comes the phloem parenchyma. Just like xylem parenchyma, even phloem parenchyma are basically concerned with storage. After that comes the last cell called as phloem fibers. They are elongated lignified cells and they are the only dead cells. So that means they provide the mechanical strength. So that was all about the different cells present in the phloem tissue. The sucrose solution which gets transported to all the different parts of the plant is also termed as translocation of solutes, that is nothing but a food. So that's a same term which we use for the transportation. There is an experiment to prove the transportation of food material. It's called as girdling experiment. To perform this activity, you have to select a small tree, gently remove its soft part or a bark of the stem in a small area of about 1 centimeter with the help of a razor blade. Leave it after girdling for a week. That the we observe that the stem is girdled, the downward and upward movement of the food material gets blocked. So the trunk portion shows swelling in the area due to the accumulation of the food material. So far we learned how the xylem and phloem tissue help in the conduction of water and food, isn't it? But technically how this water enters the root, so let's look into it. So if you observe the tip of a root under the microscope, you will see that there are tiny microscopic hairs that are present all over. These are called as the root hair. So these root hairs help in the absorption of water and mineral salts from the soil. The process by which the water molecules enter the root hair is called as osmosis. Unlike diffusion, that is movement of molecules of gas, liquid or solid from a higher concentration to the lower concentration, in osmosis only water molecules is involved. Before going in detail about osmosis process, so let's learn the structure of root hair. So look at the diagram, you can see it's a magnified view of a root hair. So it has a long extension of an epidermal cell of the root. Epi means the outer layer. This cell, being a plant cell, has an outer cell wall and an inner cell membrane. The outer cell wall is rigid and the inner cell membrane encloses the nucleus, cytoplasm and its contents. The cell wall is said to be freely permeable as it allows all the substance to pass through it, whereas the cell membrane is semi-permeable, it allows only the water molecules to pass through it, but prevents the entry of any large molecules. This feature of a cell membrane facilitates the movement of water molecules from the soil into the root cells. The cell sap in the root hair cell is said to be of a higher concentration, that means very less water, as it contains more solutes compared to the surrounding soil water. So this further promotes water absorption. So what makes this root hair so special and well suitable for absorbing water from the soil? So let's look at these facts. The numerous root hairs provide a larger surface area. More the surface area, greater is the absorption, isn't it? Second part is root hairs contain cell sap, which is of a higher concentration than the surrounding soil water. Third thing is, as discussed, the cell wall is a freely permeable, which permits movements of all types of substance, but the cell membrane is a semi-permeable. It allows only some substance to pass through it. So that was some basics about phloem tissue and how the water is absorbed by the roots. So if you were to ask me, where do we find the xylem and phloem tissues in the plants? It's just similar to the nerves that we have in human beings. So similarly, plants also have the nerves all over in all the plant parts of the plants. So wherever there are nerves, you can find the xylem and phloem tissue. Hope you liked this video. If you liked it, please like it and share it. Also subscribe it if you haven't done it till now.